Hello, I'm Daphne Goode and welcome to Go Island, Cowichan Valley. Well, I am fortunate to be sharing the creative space of award-winning filmmaker Nick Versteeg, who's working away behind me. This is where all the magic happens, and we'll tell you about his latest project. Thanks a lot for joining us on the program. On today's show, the creative filmmaker Nick Versteeg shares some of his latest film with us. And we'll look at a high-achieving cross-country skier in our Go for the Gold Olympic Series. All that and more on Go Island, Cowichan Valley.
Go Island is brought to you by German Auto Import Network.
Nick, you've always made films about issues that you're really passionate about, and food was a big part of your life, but now this film talks about the watershed, the importance of water and the environment. How did you come to produce it in the first place?
When we did Once Upon a Day Cowichan last year, the CVRD Watershed Board contacted me and said, you have so much film footage, aerial shots about our watershed. Could you do a 5-minute kind of a 5-minute film about our watershed? I met with Roger Hunter from the watershed. I said, what on earth are we going to do in 5 minutes? I said, there are so many issues all the way from Lake Cowichan to the Cowichan estuary that we should do a full-fledged documentary showing it from all points of view, but really show to the public what all the issues are in our watershed. So Lake Cowichan, the river, the estuary, and that's how this whole project came about.
So you found people from all sides, and it sounds like you represented many, many voices, the controversy as well as the beauty and the enjoyment of the water.
Yeah, I visited the Cowichan Stewardship Board that meets every month, where all the groups from our whole entire area can vent their concerns. They can come up with ideas how to make our watershed better. The Stewardship Roundtable Conference, they call it. So I visited a couple of those conferences, and from that conference, from that meeting, I found a lot of key people, the stakeholders, that were all part of it. So we talked with retired fishermen, we talked with guides that are on the river, we talked with retired guides, we talked about the people that know about the weir. So a catalyst was very helpful in explaining us what the weir is all about. But we also talked with the people that are against raising the weir. So by showing it, I think, from all kinds of sides, we're going to get the viewer is going to get a great picture. First of all, what is our watershed all about? How important is our watershed, right? And what can we do to make this a better place? Right?
Now,
So, yeah.
will this film, Nick, do you think, change minds? Did it change your mind in making it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think because there is no narration in the film, it's completely talked together. We call it a kind of a balanced, I would call it a balanced production. So it's completely talked together by interviews from people. And then Tim Kolczynski from the tribes, really, he is almost the narrator in between, as much as we did it as an interview. He is linking he's making all these connections. And you will see the first 40 minutes, it's 80 minutes. So it's a quite extensive film. The first 40 minutes deals with all the issues. The second part of the film shows what all these community groups, and that was an eye-opener to me, what all these community groups are doing to make the river better, to make riparian areas. I did not know much because I'm not a fisherman. I did not much about riparian areas, but now you know how important they are. The Cowichan Bay estuary. I live here, so I want to know what's happening and etc. So we show eelgrass planting, what all these groups are doing actually to make it better.
One thing I gather from your research and the people you featured is everybody has a stake, everybody has an interest, and are very, very concerned about the issue of water.
Totally. And I think we should, with global warming. Look at this moment. It has not rained here for like weeks, right? So it's really interesting. As much as we film the fish returning after, you will see in the film, you will see a couple of things that they did on the river this past summer, what improved the return of the salmon, and we show fantastically how the salmon return. But if we don't start looking after it and we don't start to talk about the issues, especially the release of the water, more water, we're going to go, and that's how we start the production. It started with a crisis that the river almost ran dry. So by, I think, showing this, people, hopefully we get into people's minds that, hey, we really have to all work together here to do something about it.
Our watershed's roughly 1,000 square kilometers. It runs from the mountains west of Cowichan Lake. There's a magnificent lake, 32 kilometers long, incredibly deep. That feeds the Cowichan River, a heritage river that's 51 kilometers long, and heads to the Cowichan estuary. It's just an amazing place to be. It's got a vast amount of resources, salmon, elk, it's got bountiful waterfowl populations. The watershed is the lifeblood of our community. It provides the water that we drink. The watershed feeds our aquifer. Its shorelines provide bountiful food and resources.
Nick Versteeg is concerned about watershed issues in the Cowichan Valley, and his latest film, Resilience, will share ideas and voices about these issues. Taking personal responsibility is key, as Nick will explain after the break.
Resilience is about, a community, I think, coming together. It's almost, and that's why I love living here, because when we did Once Upon a Day, it was a community of musicians who came together. I think this time it's a community of very focused people who come together. So we met with a group in Lake Cowichan, the Stewardship Lake Cowichan group. And they took me around Lake Cowichan, showed me all the good parts, the bad parts, what can be improved, right? It's a real positive film too. I went with Kenzie Cuthbert, he is a guide on the river. But also, for example, it's my favorite part out of the film is with an old retired guy, Joe Cecil. He's a retired guide. Well, I made 2 trips with him down the river, and the river is spectacular, I can tell you that. So shots are easy because there is so much beauty. But Joe Cecil, I spent a day with him. He's saving little fry. So he goes into these little pools with a net, scoops the thousands of little fry out that are trapped in these pools and brings them back to the river. I've never seen anything like it. So that's some of the stuff that you're going to see, right?
And such a lot of dedication from all ages of people. The children
Totally.
were involved in especially their interest in salmon. But it sounds like you have people from children's age all the way up.
It was really neat. I got a call from Bob Crandell, the Cowichan Lake hatchery. And he said, Nick, we're going to show what they do with the salmon, how they cut it open and the eggs take out. And we see even the kids mixing, the milk and the salmon eggs, right? And you should see the faces of the kids. That was great to see. I would have loved to use more children in it. Yeah. But we also, I think, hope that some parents are actually going to take their children into the theater, or later showings that we're going to do in Lake Cowichan and in Cowichan Bay. We're going to show it later on with discussions, because I think schools should see this. That's, our next generation should really see all the things that are happening in our watershed. It's completely, and I warn people, it's completely different than Once Upon a Day Cowichan. As much as Eric Smith at Pikakud and Carol Jarvie did the music, it's wonderful working with Eric Smith again. Yes, it's very educational. I think anybody that will see it will say, wow. Because there were things that I never knew, that are happening in our watershed. So.
And that's part of the aim of creating film in the first place, is to educate, show people some of the beauty of the area. So on February 19th at 7 p.m. at the Cowichan Theatre, hopefully you'll have the room packed. I know the tickets are going quite quickly now. Yeah. What do you hope people will come away with? A sense of activism or a sense of understanding, a bit of both?
Excellent. I hope that people are going to get involved in certain areas that they see they should get involved in. We in Cowichan Bay, we filmed the eelgrass planting, and all kinds of volunteers came out. They do it once a year. The cleanup of the shore of the river, people should really get involved in that. When we show the cleanup, we film the cleanup of the river. What's always an amazing thing for me to see that actually people can throw stuff in the river. What's really sad. So we hope that people watch it and say, oh, maybe I should not throw this beer bottle over water, right? Because there is more to it. So yeah, I hope that people take something away of it. We have a discussion after the film. So we will have some experts after the film that people can ask questions about the weir, about the watershed. We will have people there to answer questions.
And I know, Nick, you're very, very interested in foods which are healthy, and of course you show us ways to create wonderful recipes. You told me once that Cowichan Bay is very, very healthy, and that you could have wonderful seafood, you could harvest it almost all year round. Is that in danger of disappearing if we're not careful?
You will see Tim Kolczynski talking about that since he is alive, we had no shellfish harvesting in the bay. And one is the goal, I've taken over from Bruce Stewart as chair of Cheetah Slough, our village is Slough Village. And one of the goals that the watershed and Cheetah Slough have is to bring the shellfish back, that people can eat the shellfish again in 2020. And I think when you see the film, you will definitely see that this is where we have to work on. That's one of the issues, right? Bringing the salmon back, of course, is a major part. But shellfish, I think, wouldn't that be great that we can eat our own shellfish again in the bay?
So today we're in Marie Canyon. We're with the Cowichan Lake Salmon Enhancement Society, and what we're doing is we're catching the chum and bringing their eggs and the milt back to the hatchery. And the members of the society and the hatchery are here today to help do that job, as we do each year. And we have one of our newer members who joined us in the last 2 years doing rescues of fry salvage in the summertime. That's Lake Cowichan First Nation. And they're here also today helping us with taking the eggs and the milt back to the hatchery to be put into the incubation trays.
At the hatchery, we provide tours for groups that are interested as part of our public awareness, public education, and public participation program. Here at the hatchery, when we have visitors come in, often the children students are allowed to actually mix the milt from the male salmon in with the eggs from the female salmon.
Nick Versteeg's film, Resilience, will be shown at the Cowichan Theatre on Wednesday, February 19th at 7 p.m., with a discussion about watershed issues to follow. To order tickets, go to the website, cowichantheatre.ca, or call 250-748-7529. You can order tickets online at ctcentre.bc.ca. We're going to take just a quick break right now, but after we come back, we'll have This Week in BC, our usual report with Sean Leslie, looking into what's going on at the BC Legislature, and then we'll be back again sharing some of Nick Versteeg's fabulous film work.